I've seen a lot of aspiring executive virtual assistants ask me about how to show executive presence when in an interview, whether it be an initial or a final interview, whether you are applying in an agency or applying for with a direct client. It's always one of the questions that they ask. How do you show executive presence in a short amount of time that you're doing an initial or a final interview? Well, this video that I saw online actually answers some of those questions. I'm going to play the video, but I'm not going to play the music because it's just a background music and we might be tagged under copyright. So I'll just be explaining what the video is showing based on what the advice that this content creator gave. So please take note that aside from the videos that we see here, watch until the end so that I can give you an additional advice or tips how to show executive presence while you are in an initial interview or a final interview. So it says here the body language. So she is going to focus on the body language that you're going to use during an interview to show that you have executive presence. Please take note that you're going to think like, how does body language show executive presence? You have to understand in a final interview, you only have 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour to show everything that you're capable of. And one of the things that you need to be able to show, especially if you're applying for an executive virtual assistant role, is executive presence. So you can think of but you're going to see my executive presence with the way I work, with the way I produce my output. That's already after the fact, meaning you have to impress someone first during your interview, okay? You have to be able to show executive presence real time, and you have to be able to do it even without showing your output yet. Okay, because executive presence will follow later on. You will prove that you really do have executive presence once you get the job. But remember that you have to be able to show executive presence even if you haven't bagged the job yet. Okay, so which happens during a final interview or an initial interview. So here are some of the body language technique that you can use to show executive presence. First one would be taking up space, meaning you have to show openness and confidence in your stance. So you can't be hunched down, you can't be on the side, or you can't look like you are someone who is in a position wherein you are just there to serve. Okay, that you are just there to surrender. You need to be able to take up space, meaning you have to sit upright. You have to, another thing that goes hand in hand with taking up space is that you have to use hand gestures when you speak, because this shows that you just didn't memorize your answers, but you're actually trying to express yourself real time, and you're just thinking of your answers and you're just not scripted. Okay, so showing hand gestures, but don't be too overly exaggerated on your hand gestures. Okay, make sure that you use your hand gestures effectively and efficiently. So her explanation here is people are visual. This helps show intention in what you're saying while allowing others to follow smoothly. Okay, so showing hand gestures makes you also seem like a human, and you're having a human interaction with your interviewer and you're not robotic. Okay, the next one is never tilt your head, chin always up and straight. Okay, when you are in an interview, don't be like this and talking to the interviewer. Always make sure that you sit upright and you're facing the camera. One thing that would help is your screen, because sometimes when we are in a virtual meeting or in a virtual interview, we tend to look at ourselves, not the interviewer. Okay, so you have to make sure that the screen where you see yourself is right beside where your camera is, so that it will look like you are looking directly in the camera and looking directly at the interviewer. Never do it like this. Okay, so I have my camera here and I have my monitor here, so I can see myself here, not here. Okay, So you have to make sure that when you are in an interview, your screen where you see yourself should be beside or below the camera where you're being recorded. Okay? And make sure that you chin up straight, not tilted. Okay? The next advice that she has here is to look to the side instead of up or down when breaking eye contact. Now, if you are like me and you like to watch crime documentaries, you would know that a lot of body language experts would say that looking in a certain direction is a telltale sign that someone is lying or making up stories. Okay, same goes in a final interview. Now, if your interviewer watch a lot of crime videos, they would definitely know this, that when you look at a certain direction, it means that you're lying. So always make sure that you look at the side. Don't look down or don't look up. This is how you think. Okay? You look at the sides when you are thinking and don't look up or down. Okay? The next one is to make sure that instead of forcing a smile, just think that you are smiling. I am guilty of this. Whenever I'm in a meeting or in an interview, I always make sure that I am smiling. Okay? Sometimes it's very painful already when you are forcing a smile. So here she says that you just have to think. There you go. Think, a little brain muscle hack. Think that you are smiling instead of forcing a smile. This is something that I'm going to practice moving forward, because I always make sure that I force a smile, or I'm always laughing, because do you see these fine lines, what they call the angry 11s? I'm very conscious of this. So when I'm not smiling, it looks like I'm doing like that. So I have to make sure that I smile to compensate for these angry 11s. So, but we'll have to practice forcing or just thinking that we are smiling. Those are the tips that she mentioned that you can do in terms of body language to show that you have executive presence. Another way to show executive presence during an initial or a final interview is to make sure that you are dressed properly. This is not dressed properly. This is me using I don't have sleeves. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to make sure that you have another blazer or a coat that is formal, and then just have to put it over whether your pajama or your shirt or something, but you just have to make sure that you have something, a coat or a formal polo shirt, anything that's formal, to make sure that you are professional waist up. Okay, your hair should be properly fixed. You have nice simple makeup. So these are things that will show executive presence. Another technique to show executive presence, not just in your answers, but easily with the way you act and the way you dress, is to also the way you answer. You should have good professional tone. Your voice should be modulated well. This will definitely show that you have good executive presence. Okay? Like for example, for me, as you can notice, I always talk a lot. I have good modulated voice. I've practiced this all throughout the year. This would show also your confidence and your assertiveness. But if you listen to the way I talk or the way I use vocabulary and my grammar, I have a lot of mistakes, especially when it comes to vocabulary. I only have basic. This is something that I'm trying to strengthen for many years already. That's why I read a lot of books. Okay, but since I have good modulated voice, my good tone, I show confidence in the way I talk. Sometimes you will think that she's an amazing English speaker or something like that. But if you're going to compare me to Ayin Bernos, she has really good grammar and vocabulary. She has advanced grammar and vocabulary compared to me. But if you compare our tone of voice and our modulation, it kind of sounds the same. But when you really try and look at how we talk or the things that we're actually saying, she's way more advanced than me. She has good vocabulary and grammar. I don't have that. But with the way I talk and with the confidence that I show, even if I have basic grammar and vocabulary knowledge, it still shows that I have good executive presence. So those are the tips that I have for you to show executive presence during an initial interview or a final interview. Now, if you like this video and you want to learn more about how to become a good executive virtual assistant, how to become a remote worker or a freelancer, all you have to do is follow me on all of my social and subscribe to all of my channels. Everything will be in the link below in the caption section or in the comment section. I also have a free learning center if you want to learn the steps on how to become a freelancer, an executive virtual assistant. Just check out the link below. My community is Executive Virtual Assistant Philippines. You can find my community on Facebook as well as in the link or my official community via NAS. I also have a paid online course on how to be an executive virtual assistant. It has 16 modules, 16 hours worth of video tutorials. We also have downloadable templates. You will have access to this course lifetime, meaning if I have updates, you will have access to those updates as well. This is also self-paced, meaning you can take it anytime. My online course or nas.io also has a phone or mobile application, so just download nas.io and you will have access to the course in any of your devices. Everything that I just mentioned will be in the link in my profile or in the comment section or in the caption of this video. So thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you learned a lot and I'll see you in the next video.